You wake up before dawn, you put your head down, you work until your eyes sting. And yet, months go by with almost zero to show for it, while everyone else seems to be effortlessly sprinting ahead. When we hit that wall, our immediate instinct is usually to double down. We assume that the lack of results is a direct consequence of not moving fast enough. This was the exact mindset of Darrow, a young potter in a riverside village. He was full of energy and completely determined to outrun the clock. The annual harvest festival was approaching, offering a highly coveted spot in the great trade market. Darrow planned to secure it through sheer volume, spinning out hundreds of pots faster than anyone else in town. He believed that hard work and velocity could override the natural laws of his craft, forcing a timeline that usually takes weeks into a matter of days. At his wheel, Darrow was a blur of motion. He pressed the wet earth hard and spun the base at maximum velocity, rushing from one raw shape to the next to meet his self-imposed quota. His father, a master craftsman, watched the hurry and offered a quiet warning. Clay listens only to time. If you rush it, it breaks. Darrow ignored him, fearing that any delay would mean missing the market entirely. What Darrow couldn't see was the physics of his own haste. This diagram shows what happens inside the material. Shaping wet clay at high speed traps uneven pockets of moisture, building microscopic faults deep within the structure. His rapid output was an illusion. Instead of creating value, he was mass-producing fatal flaws into his foundation at an accelerated rate. Eventually, the work faced the kiln. The fire serves as the ultimate unforgiving test of everything the craftsman has done up to that point. Darrow packed 20 rushed pots into the heat. By the next morning, nearly all of them had fractured or completely exploded under pressure. He sat on the floor of his workshop, surrounded by shattered earth. His exhausting labor had yielded exactly 0 usable pieces. Later that week, Darrow watched his father set up a stand in the village square. On the table sat just 3 pots, simple, perfectly smooth, and incredibly strong. The intense pressure of the kiln simply exposes the hidden weaknesses created when we skip the necessary resting phase. Sitting among the ruins of his work, Darrow finally abandoned his obsession with output. He decided to surrender to the natural rhythm of the material. This required embracing a critical, often ignored phase of the craft, the shelf. Once the raw shape is formed, it must be set aside to rest. Mechanically, as the piece sits, moisture evaporates slowly and evenly. This allows the earth to contract into a tight, uniform structural lattice. This even evaporation prevents internal steam pressure. When the clay hits the fire, these uniform bonds absorb the thermal shock without shattering. Darrow realized that patience is a form of active control. By stepping back, he allowed the environment to perform the invisible, structural work that his hands alone could never achieve. Respecting the natural timeline of a process is an absolute physical prerequisite for lasting strength. When the harvest festival arrived, Darrow brought only a small collection of pieces, the few that were truly, completely ready. The results were undeniable. The pots felt solid and perfectly balanced. When a merchant tapped the rim of one, it gave off a clean, ringing sound that echoed through the square. The judges awarded Darrow the silver coin of craftsmanship. His father stood nearby and whispered, "You see, time listens too when we learn to wait." Darrow was moved not by the prize itself, but by the deep, quiet satisfaction of the unrushed craft. He had finally learned to value the integrity of the process over the speed of the result. Years later, Darrow became a revered master. He worked in a sunlit workshop, no longer trying to impress anyone, but finding peace in doing one thing exactly right. You might currently be in a season of hard work where the results refuse to materialize. It feels like you're standing still while the world moves on. True patience means showing up every single day and working with focus, trusting that effort given in silence still counts toward the final outcome. The most enduring things grow during these quiet seasons, when no one is watching or applauding the progress. In the pursuit of lasting success, you must allow the air to do its work before you face the fire. You must have the discipline to wait for your work to be ready.